welcome to Prog review number 14, and tonight I'm going to be looking at the new Steve Hackett album, Beyond the Shrouded Horizon. And look, on my copy, some rotter's gone and scribbled on it. Only kidding, that's an autograph from Mr. Hackett himself. Yeah, I got the deluxe fancy pants double CD booklet-y thingy because that's the way I roll. But yeah, so I'll be reviewing that tonight. I've actually made some notes because I thought I'd try and be a bit more professional rather than umming and ahhing my way through it. So it's going to be a bit of a long slog, this one, because there's quite a few tracks. There's 22 tracks to get through. So I'm going to do it track by track, and then hopefully, if you haven't all fallen asleep, we'll get to the end and the score. And for those of you who wondered what my score was for the last video, it was 5 out of 5 Wilton carpets. That's 5 Wilton carpets out of 5, and I'll let you work out what CD that I'm talking about. It was the previous one, if you need a clue. So anyway, back to this review. Now, the last album that Hackett had out was Out of the Tunnel's Mouth, very Freudian. Now, if it was going into the tunnel's mouth, we'd probably be talking about the horizontal pogo or a bit of the holding out, but he was coming out of the tunnel's mouth, so was he being reborn? You know, was it something as mystical as that? Well, we all know that he'd been through some personal issues, and I guess he was just saying that to illustrate that he'd come through the other side. And in that imagery of trains and steam and locomotives and power. And on this album, it's all about sailing and boats and journeys to far-flung places. The album starts off with a song called Loch Lomond, which I don't know if you're familiar with. It's a place up in Scotland, in these fair isles, but you don't get any bagpipes or kilt-wearing men jumping around and tossing their cabers. You get a classic Hackett song. It follows the template of him, with the thumping drums, the squealing guitars, the usual symphonic pomp. But then things start to get good, and it settles down to tell a tale of a trip accompanied by some very nice acoustic guitars. And this leads into a track called The Phoenix Flown, which is a personal favourite of mine. This is the Hackett that I like to hear. It's when he's using his soaring melodic guitar lines, and it's an instrumental that's kind of reminiscent to the steps from the Defector album. In fact, I believe that this album feels as if it's got more of one foot in the past than these other records, which for me isn't a bad thing. This is followed by a track called Wanderlust, which is a very, 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 very short acoustic piece, which is a little bit too short, in my opinion. But it acts as a nice little interlude between epics. It leads into Till These Eyes, which is a ballad. Now, I don't know if you like Steve Hackett's ballads. I'm not particularly big fan. I like it when he's got his balls out and he's rocking. But it's nice enough, and it's But it leads into an instrumental piece called Prairie Angel, which really tickles my fancy, as it features the theme from the next song. Acts as a kind of a prelude, but it's atmospheric, and it elicits grand vistas, rolling plains and wide blue open skies, and it takes you into, it dovetails right into the next song, a place called Freedom, which for me is the heart of the album. And it's truly a great track, and it's it's probably one that you're going to hear a lot of when he tours. But I love it. It's got some really nice 12-string guitars in the background, and they instantly take you back to the track Narnia from the Please Don't Touch album, which for me is fantastic. It's really, really good stuff. And this is followed by a track called Between the Sunset and the Coconut Palms, which after that epic is quite gentle in comparison. But for me, it's so amorphous as a song, it just kind of drifts away and didn't really work for me. And this is followed by a bit of a curate's egg, a real curiosity, a track called Waking to Life. Now on paper I shouldn't like this because it's a bit dancey, has an eastern tinge to it, but it's got some really nice sustained guitar work. Now for me, Hackett often works best when he uses other vocalists instead of having himself singing, and this time he elicits the help of Amanda Lehman, who is I think it's the sister of his new missus, so he's keeping it in the family. And while her voice isn't particularly strong or memorable, I thought it worked really well within the song, and it made the song even more distinctive. You know, again, it's one of those songs I shouldn't like it, but I really dug it. Again, it might divide fans, that one. Now we're kind of heading downhill now, because one of my issues with the record is it's too long and it kind of runs out of steam, and this is where we're using the train metaphor again there, Darren. Maybe I should say the wind has fallen out of its sails. Yeah, that's a bit better. But I digress. I'm floating off into the atmosphere. Two Faces of Cairo. It lost me. It came across as a bit of a musical mess. I didn't like it, you know, but he did try and do something a bit different, so it kind of gets half a thumbs up for that. And then this is followed by another bloody awful ballad, called Looking for Fantasy, and I'm sorry, this one, it sucks monkey nuts, I'm afraid, to put it politely. I don't like it. But the good side is it's followed by Summer's Breath, which is a lovely little nylon acoustic number. Problem is it needs to be longer, and I could listen to Steve Hackett playing the nylon acoustic guitar until the cows come home. So, you know, there's not enough of that on this record for me. It needs to be a bit more. And then we get to another stinker, I'm afraid, a song called Catwalk, which is it's where Hackett again brings out his obsession with the blues, and this is a pseudo blues number which I had to physically restrain myself from being sick while I was listening to it. Yeah, that's how bad it is. There's lots of crunchy guitars, but you know you're in trouble when the lyrics say, from the wrong side of the tracks. Yes, cliches such as that, and you know, if this was Eurovision, you'd be scoring nil point. Sorry, Steve, I don't like it. Sorry. And then we're on the home straight now. The final song is an 11-minute epic called Turn This Island Earth, and it's another one I just didn't get. It's a real WTF musical moment. It's a sprawling musical medley that just for me disappears up its own fundament. It's not for me, it might be for you, who knows. It's supposed to be spacey, it's supposed to be like that journey into the stars, but I didn't get it. Now again, my problem with this record is there's a good record in there, but because every artist these days, they get a CD and they think, do you know what, I'm going to put 60 minutes of music on instead of actually sticking to 40 or 45 minutes. The perfect album is somewhere between 35 and 42 minutes in length. Trust me, all the classic albums of the past tend to stick within that remit. You start going beyond the 45-minute mark, you lose people's interest, and this is the problem with this. There are some strong tracks, but he should have cut it back, used a bit of admirable restraint, and you know, I like it better than Out of the Tunnel's Mouth. I thought this was, you know, more of a return to form, you know, but yeah, I do like it for that. So as a mark, I'm going to give it 3.5 acolytes out of 5. If it had been shorter, you'd score 4 out of 5, but because there's just that last section I just can't get through. Sorry. Now I'm going to look at the bonus disc. Some of you might not buy the bonus disc version, but I thought I'd include it just for those of you who are interested to hear my thoughts. Now again, there's some stuff on the bonus disc that I think should have been on the main album, which is a shame. You know, there seems to have been, I think a good producer would have come in and said, hey Steve, this is good. You know, I think he needs the confidence of putting some of that material on the main record and taking some of the more clunky stuff off. It opens with like a what would you call it? An extended piece. It's spread over 4 tracks, about the 4 corners of the compass, 4 winds, north, south, east, and west. And is it B-side material? If it is, it's quality B-side material, and it's a musical journey. It really is a musical journey. It encompasses lots of different styles. Again, you've got the acoustic guitar, Eastern flavours, and I really liked it. I thought it was experimental, and I think as a piece it should have been in the middle of the previous album. It should have been in there, or should have used it. Pied en l'air. Oh, that's my schoolboy French gone out the window. Sorry, Mr. Froggy Man, didn't mean to upset you. It's a chamber orchestra piece written by someone called Peter Warlock. I don't know who he is. It's a gentle distraction. It's nice, but doesn't tickle my balls, if you know what I mean. She Said Maybe. It's another instrumental piece. It's okay. Mixes blues with Eastern influences again. Lacks focus, but great bonus disc material. Now, the next song is called Enter the Night, and it's really, I don't know. Are you familiar with Steve's work? Well, a while back, he did a song called Riding the Colossus, and this is Riding the Colossus but with words. Yeah, it's Riding the Colossus but with lyrics. Enter the Night is inspired by Peter Pan, and it's a real corker of a track. I mean, I like Riding the Colossus. I thought that was a nice instrumental, but now it's got lyrics, and it really works. It's back to those fairy tale motifs that he used on his previous albums. Again, Please Don't Touch keeps coming back to me, keeps calling out to me, and then this is what it feels like. And again, I think he should have had the courage of his convictions and included it and taken one of the lesser tracks off, but hey, maybe he got it wrong, I don't know. Eruption Tommy is based on a focus track, apparently. It's alright. I've no real thoughts about it. I think it's more of a demonstration of his playing and his guitar tone than anything else. And then the air-conditioned nightmare rears its ugly head again in the shape of the reconditioned nightmare. See what he did there? See, it's very clever. And it's a bit like seeing an old friend with a new haircut, or as if they had some cosmetic surgery. They're still your friend, but they're a bit different. But you know what? It was nice to hear that song again, even though it's been modernised, you haven't got the old drum machines. I love that Cured album, don't you? With all its drum machine goodness. So there you have it. That is I've forgotten the name of it already. It's too late. I do these videos far too late. Beyond the Shrouded Horizon. I like it and I don't like it. I like some of the songs and I don't like some of the songs. There's enough material on here to make a really good record, though. This is the problem. Over the 2 discs, there's a really good record in here. And I think he needs a better producer or somebody to actually take him to one side and say, hey Steve, should we try and make one really good record rather than 2 mediocre kind of ones? But yeah, go to Steve Hackett's website, hackettsongs.com, pick up your copy. They're giving away print. You can get a print of the sleeve as well, and support him. He needs your money, and he's doing a tour as well over November, so get out there and see it. And that's my review of this album. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you can put up with my bleary eyes and my dull monotone voice for another review. Probably going to do Stephen Wilson's Eggs for Breakfast album. Grace for Drowning album. What can you do? It's me age. But in the meantime, I'm Darren Locke. You're wearing bunny ears. What's that all about? But anyway, you better prog on. Fooled ya. There's more to come. Let's have a look at the marvellous booklet. And here you go, a little slipcase holding the first CD. It's rather a plain number. It's got some clouds on it. and put that back in. Oh look, I've split the bottom already. Ooh, missus. Again, that's the artwork. Picture of Steve with his guitar case, looking off into the distance. And there's some lyrics, and there's a picture, out of focus picture. I'm not sure it's my camera or their camera. Some more lyrics. And there's Steve with his band, looking up. He's putting his favourite guitar face. Looks like a Roman bathhouse. That's Steve under iced water. He's under a lake or something. I don't know what that's all about. Someone's let the ink run. There's big Buddha face, and yeah, some more lyrics, and all the credits. And there's Steve just looking out to sea, thinking, "Phew, I made it to the end." The final disc again. It's a bit cloudy. Cloudy with chances of meatballs, and that's it. Wow, bet you're amazed, aren't you now? And there's our special guest, Mr. Cranefly. And that's your lot. Now bugger off. Go and do something more interesting instead. Tool Pip.